So that protect didn't really, I mean, it didn't really end up mattering in terms of the side of Shikigami, as, you know, they're getting rid of, on the opposite side, Adam Warlock. They don't want to play against Triple, which makes sense. I think Triple is sort of coming back into the meta. You know, people realizing how strong it is, and, you know, a lot of people having to add that to their arsenal, making sure you can get rid of that is big.
Yeah, I think a lot of the triples driven based off your Warlock and your Mantis. Mantis, obviously, it may not be as considered as valuable, right, as Warlock, who does have some very strong cooldowns and that hit scan at range. You find a lot of the time that your Hela player finds themselves on the Warlock and ends up getting a ton of KOs, as we saw yesterday a few times. So yeah, that's going to be off the battlefield. No surprise there, just to ensure they don't, you know, have to deal with it. But we do have the Ultron on now. We mentioned March up in the sky with flyers. Like to see the Ultron with Bredy there on the Human Torch. So they are going to be playing that flying comp with the Invisible, which is a very strong composition. But one of the major counters can be a very strong Punisher. Let's see if Lorenz can do it.
We'll see if Lorenz can do it indeed. Luminosity starting off with Vent, like you said. And now we're going to have that Ultron. We're going to have that Human Torch. We're going to have the Invisible Woman to help those flyers, and Shikigami relying heavily on that Punisher. But here comes that early portal play that we always see.
I'd love to see it set up with a turret like that. You rarely find that as you're trying to, in that moment, get a kidnap, have somebody accidentally walk in and find themselves face to face with the turret. But unfortunately, not able to do that there. But a fair amount of ultra. You see Lorenz already at roughly 35%. Gives him a bit of an advantage, potentially allowing him to get to that final judgment first. And that little win, those small little trades and wins are what wins games at this level of play. Bredy on the high side here left, trying to put some pressure onto the Doctor Strange. Now using it on point. Great tackle there. Not able to find value, but you do see that drone again. Bredy going to take out Kuna. Nice pick there, as numbers are now back in the side of Luminosity, keeping the pressure off point and just trying to get this thing capped. And then Doctor Strange inside that bubble, and immediately going to see that eternal bond, buying more time on point, matched by a strangling, or excuse me, by an invisible boundary. Out goes the Punisher gets taken down by Yang, and Wicca onto Spenny, back and forth, and nobody has captured the point just yet.
Okay, nobody's captured the point. These fights are incredibly lengthy. Bredy, though, sitting over the top side, just kind of pumping in so much damage. Shikigami missing that Punisher now is definitely brutal. Here comes that Ultron as well over the top, just kind of securing even more damage towards everybody in Shikigami who are hiding. They did lose Haluk, though. Everybody is so low. Pride falls to 1 HP, and Bredy does get the final elimination. But oh my god, what a tackle!
Yeah, we've seen a lot more Wolverine's anti-air over the last few days than I would have ever thought. Wolverine, an incredibly strong HP drain-based hero who does have that iframe and reset on his HP bar when getting taken down with the passive. But Lorenz going to take out Yang there, make that 2, keeping the pressure forward again, trying to get back to that 15% to even it out. Even after Luminosity looked like they were going to take that thing. March drove them inside the building. Bredy followed up, but unfortunately the tackle right back from Kuna is going to shut that down. Well done by Shikigami on the retake.
You know, and this is Wolverine's probably best map, is on his Hell's Heaven. This is just so much room, similar to Black Panther, to kind of sit on flank angles, go for those grabs, kind of play like a nuisance. That's what you want to do. This character, less about individual mechanics and more about positioning. And Kuna taking advantage of those angles. Like you said, they swapped the thing to try to counter him. He's trying to go for immediate dash into the sky, does get pushed away by Invisible Woman.
And there goes the Eye of Agamotto popped. Will they get Haluk? No, they will not. Down goes the Meteor M. Not able to find value either. Great play there across the board defensively. Lorenz finds Haluk early. And a second. Down goes Spenny. Lorenz on a 3-piece. Keep the pressure going. And this is why you need to ban Punisher against Shikigami, as Lorenz is just showcasing the raw damage that he can output during that ultimate. Incredible work on Final Judgment.
60% on the board now for Shikigami. Ultimate's still ready to go as well in terms of Stratus ultimates, and LG have to retouch with Stratus ultimates versus Shikigami, and last stand's available. He's been able to pull them out of that invisible boundary, and let's see what he does. I mean, it's going to be scary to deal with for LG's side on the retake as well versus that Meteor M. So much lethality right now in LG. The best thing they could deal with it is a bubble.
Yeah, Shikigami ult advantage up. Do have that eternal bond kind of with the last stand too, and it might come very soon here. Don't even need to use it as Haluk goes down. He gets a trade with Lorenz. Pride finds Spenny. Back and forth it still goes here as Luminosity trying to hold on to the point. Yang using that bond onto the middle of the point. Wolverine trying to tackle off, and the push to follow up onto Alfie. That's a great play there by Wicca. Kinetic too, as they do sweep.
Oh my god!
Beautifully well done there by Medora. You gotta love to see it at this level of plays. It's not really as expected. So well done.
What a vibe killer. What an absolute vibe killer from Madara, like you said. And beautifully well done, like you mentioned. Luminosity. That was insane.
Honestly, looked heavily in Luminosity's favor in those early fights. Shikigami just found some value, and they kept the ball rolling. And the snowball did keep growing bigger, and they ran all the way through there. What a counter portal at the end. Wow. Just so well played. Madara 17-0. Lorenz 17-2. Connor Kuna, is 13-1. Just so many good stat lines here. 7 final hits there for Lorenz as well. We just got to see LG pick it up here, as they will have some solid ultimates off the rip.
I feel like the vibes in LG's rooms are bad. I don't know, man. I mean, considering how the last few months have gone, considering how that just went, man, it just stinks because they lost people to Last Stand with these Shredder's ultimates up, and obviously it's hard to deal with. And then I believe they lost Ready earlier, just going in super early. I just don't get it, man. LG, you need to string a couple wins here, man, because 16% is not enough to make me feel confident about your roster. Now you got Brady on Psylocke, so maybe that's the change-up they need.
March on the high side. We do see a change in composition. Star-Lord ready to pop off here. They will have that bubble for the early gain of alt charges. We have Galactic Legend ready. We won't see too much spin yet because it's not necessary. Instead, I believe, with the bubble, might as well. Does have alt ready. Doesn't necessarily need it yet, but oh, great. I actually didn't know you could break that. Learning something new here every day. As here we go with the Galactic Legend immediately going to get that final judgment. Does it find the Legend off the right angle? Great positioning there by March. Bubble protecting Lorenz was massive there during that ultimate, but still going to get one down. Lorenz falls. Yang, Brady gonna find Wicca. Haluk gonna find Kinetic, and that is great play here by LG, who's showcasing that it may have just been a fluke, and they're back on their feet.
Fair play. I mean, Domination is known as one of those maps that it can be a bit volatile. I mean, there's not a lot of time on the clock compared to like Convoy and Convergence. Those maps definitely last a lot longer. I mean, you can have 7-minute Domination games compared to a 13, 14-minute Convoy. So, Domination can be a bit more, coin flippy, but right now, Shikigami, they have ultimates to come back through Luminosity. We've noticed how these Doctor Stranges have been impactful. Let's see if Madara can do the same thing he did earlier. Brady, oh no, my God, so close.
And we might be seeing a big eye here shortly. Out goes the dance of the butterfly. Not able to find too much value. Does force out an ultimate there by Kinetic. Madara going to take out a Luke early.
You want the close ult on the point. I mean, they just sustain it up. Shikigami's side. Here comes the Diabolical, like you mentioned. Here comes one frozen on March. And then Pride is there with the follow-up with the Meteor M. Last Stand does connect, but he's going to go down during that. And, oh no, traded back and forth. Luminosity, I mean, they're still holding on to the objective right now, but Shiki have sort of worked themselves towards this point. Portal, meanwhile, comes through to retouch. Pride opens it up as well to Brady. So those are some nice eliminations to connect, as they have so much to stay with that invisible boundary from Wicca as well. They're going to flip that point. I mean, there's still some more delay. Actually, not going to flip the point necessarily just yet. Just some Vanguards delaying. And eventually, after they get rid of the Star-Lord, who has that Galactic Legend, they'll be able to get that cap.
Yeah, great pick there again. March goes down Brady as well, as they are holding on. It's 19-64. Luminosity doing a good job here maintaining this point. They do have ult advantage in this next fight.
Is my casting partner gone? Is Shib gone? Shib! Shib, get back here! Am I dead? Or are you dead?
Willing to help?
We'll find him. We'll find him. I cannot hear Chibi. Maybe that's on my end. Oh. My brother, Shib, you've been muted in Discord.
Shib, that makes sense to me, brother. I was casting out. I think they heard me, but you did in March. Gonna take out Wicca. Alfie on the Kinetic there, too. And, hey, we still power through this as Brady gets 3. Spenny taking out Madara. And down goes another. And great work by Luminosity here to retake without overcommitting ultimates. And that could be point winning for them as they are holding on to 4.
Yeah, holding on to 4 ultimates, like you mentioned, ready to go for this upcoming fight. Shib, the absolute professional he is, with the hands all over. He octopus, man, accidentally pressing the mute button, probably. Shikigami, no ultimates. I mean, they've got double Vanguards here against Luminosity, who have 4, like we said. I mean, that's going to be brutal to deal with 90% of the board.
And here goes the retake again with the dance of the butterfly onto the back line. It might find Punisher early. Does. Lorenz goes down. That is a giant pick off the rip here as March and Brady are now on one, popping off together, potentially winning this for him as Logan just trying to make that touch. Will it happen? Weapon X, more of a subject than a human at this stage of the comics, is able to get on there, and they do touch as we do see the Venn diagram up for the invisible boundary. Out goes the Eye of Agamotto. Great play there by Haluk to show that you can still get the job done through that. If you're a solid Strange, March and Alfie, you're going to find Kuna and Pride, and that is a ton of early damage, and that could be enough to shove them in and end this round, giving Luminosity the W they needed to push this to point 3.
Pushing to point 3. The vibes might be back for Luminosity, just like the vibes are back between you and me. I was worried. I mean, I thought I lost you, but I didn't lose you. It turns out I lost myself in the network. I mean, you're still a doofus for that one, Shib. You're still a doofus. No wonder you dropped down to C3, man. No wonder you dropped down to C3. All I'm saying is if you're doing stuff like that,
we bounce back, baby. Just like, much like the comms, bounce right back to where we needed to be. But yeah, no, good call out there. Very similar to the comms. I think it kind of flowed either way, man, as we get the job done despite the situation. March, look at that, 17-5, but 8 final hits there from Brady. We do have a 19-7 to look there, and yeah, you got to show Lorenz 9 final hits, most in the game, as has been tradition for him.
That's the problem, Shib, is that every time I don't hear you, I get like really worried. You know, it's like a dog with, you know, that once their owner leaves for like an hour, I'm like, where did he go? Where did he go? Please come back, Shib. I miss you.
Oh yeah. For some, it's like a sleep paralysis demon. For others, it's a buddy. So I love to hear that. But we are going to start here again, potentially with a teleport.
Nightmares about Shib.
Nothing major here from Madara, who is going to hold on to that portal. But we do see the counter portal. Haluk going to say, nah, I'll do that. And they are going to try to find one just to kidnap, as you can see, maybe right here onto a backwards Madara. No, not able to do that. It did get wide as Lorenz. There it is. You love to see the kidnap play, and it does work out for him as LG gets the early take, but tackled right back into the last stand and turns those numbers right around. Make that 4. Really well done by Kuna to find a 4-piece on an insane ultimate, and Shikigami getting that early point.
I'm sure Lorenz feels bad, but Kuna there with that 3-man last stand, and I mean, nobody's gonna save that, even the Eternal Bond from Yang. And now coming to this one, here comes Madara into this upcoming fight. That's a huge Eye of Agamotto.
Okay, and here we go again. Kuna gonna find Brady early on in this fight. That's 2 in a row. You can't have that happen here if you want this W. Alt advantage in the favor of Luminosity, but the more these fights drag out, the more that goes away. So it's very much a matter of using your damage to be pointed and find picks rather than just stall here while you're waiting for your team to retake. So you gotta be paid, you gotta be strong and smart and have a good line of sight without forcing too much damage out onto the front line until your team is ready to fight. So we are gonna start again. Wolverine gonna try to find another early pick here. Kuna doing a great job of that, and here goes Lorenz with the final judgment, but there is a counter alt here from March trying to find a play, not able to get it done. The Meteor M not finding purchase either. Well done from the countering on both sides, but Kuna gonna find a Luke early again. Kuna finding these early picks without an ultimate even, and yes, Brady gonna come right back and just have the judgment returned as they take 2. Brady looking for more, but no, out goes the Eternal Bond to stall a little bit longer. Almost made something huge happen there as it is matched, but Kuna gonna find Spenny again.
Downing Spenny again, just able to kind of do so much work towards the point on Wolverine, kind of how this character works in the passive. He does so much, but Brady trying to find these strategists, just playing in that cloak and dagger ability just makes it so hard to get them, and both Brady and March gonna fall, get KO'd out of here. Shikigami have an absolute death grip on this point.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough look. LG looked so good during that last map, but it seems like their confidence may have taken a little bit of a beating here as they are going to try to get the invis touch, but they've got to protect Strange here on this teleport, or they may be in trouble. Actually, 30 seconds to teleport, unable to do so. It's going to be all about the natural take here. They are dropping back to try to find another good position. Alfie is going to be on the Captain America to help with that stall, but ooh, that's a tough look. They're going to lose Spenny early there as we do see the invisible boundary popped. It's all about using these ultimates now. No reason to hold on. Loren's gonna find Alfie early, and that is a huge pick. Una onto Haluk, and that could be enough here for Shikigami.
Yeah, that could be. I mean, Brady all alone, everybody inside that Eternal Bond as well. I mean, it's pretty much hopeless at this point. Everything is done for LG. They looked good on round number 2, but round number 3, they just got smoked by Shikigami. The slingshot right back in their faces. Map number 1 can go in their favor on Hell's Heaven.
Yeah, I mean, we knew these games were going to be close, and I've got to say, they have been a ton of fun to watch, and I sure hope the audience is enjoying it as well as they've been so back and forth here. Both teams looking very dominant. I truly do believe this second map, being now in the favor of Luminosity, could go their way, and we could push to a map 3, may have cast or cursed it, but Brady, 11 final hits there on the side of LG. Great play there. It's matched by Kuna and Lorenz on the opposition, so really well done by the duelist line of Shikigami, but we saw some really strong play from both March, Brady, Alfie, Haluk, and everyone, Yang and Spenny even, on this want more and more. I cannot stop shredding that mode. But
dude, what's your current comp? What's your cheese comp, by the way, as Wolverine's band and Adam Warlock's band?
So I've won a multitude of ways. I chased top 500 for a while with a buddy of mine. We got up there, but running that Wolverine, I ran Wolverine with 5 strats in the back. I've run 6 duelists. I've run 6 vanguards.
6 duelists. All
of which can work if you just commit and you understand when to make the full swap to the comp and try to counter people. It is, dude, there's so much counterplay to it too.
There is, yeah. And the modules definitely matter a ton, right? I mean, that's like the biggest thing, right?
Oh, yeah. It's everything. And, you know, you gain better modules as you purchase more of a specific type. And so there's just so much to it, man. There's, you know, interest as you hold on to some money. There's more money you gain from winning loss streaks. There's just so much to that mode. I think that it's the fact that they're able to develop that and throw that on this season is wild to me. These devs are insane.
They are insane. They're insane. Just like my 20 loss streak in that game mode. I thought, you know what? Trying to get as much interest as possible, right? Trying to get as much econ as possible. But now, Shikigami on their defense going to play that Iron Man. I mean, the bans kind of went out as normal like we saw, except now on Luminosity, they're going to be able to play the Wolverine. Shikigami are not.
Yeah, we are going to see the Punisher now matched on both sides. Letting Punisher through is kind of surprising to me, given how strong Lorenz was in that last match. But they are going to run the double shield comp on the side of Shikigami. Some teams find that difficult to work through. They say that you want to try to get an Emma or a Groot or something to shake it up, but double shield definitely still viable with a strong Strange like this. And we are going to see an early hold. March going to find an early pick there on Kuna, and they try to get the tackle here. I think this is a very strong Wolverine map with those off angles. March going to find a second there, and that's a great start here for LG as they take out Madara as well.
Yeah, right now, Luminosity doing good. I mean, March is a great player from what I've seen as well, so I like to see him play that Punisher to kind of match the opposite side with Lorenz, like you mentioned. Shikigami, though, having to come back. And 4 on payload, by the way. That's how many to get maximum cart speed is what Luminosity is doing. They also have ultimates ready to go. That was a tough fight to lose as well for Shikigami, but they already portal come back through on the flank.
And here we go with that portal teleport damage I'm talking about with the turret. Hey, that's a little Shib special, although everyone's doing it these days. That's a great tackle there. Great play as Alfie cleans up everyone. Great patience. Way to figure that out and force their way through the point here. Well done by Luminosity.
And it's tough because they also use their boundary. It was just like they were too far away from ultimates. I mean, they lost the first fight too quickly. They also didn't get a lot of healing on their strategists to be able to win this upcoming fight. Meanwhile, they did a lot of damage in trade. So both Spenny and Yang had ults ready to go. So it's just tough in that situation. Committing Wicca's ultimate as well, not ideal. But now in this upcoming fight, a lot of ultimates for Shikigami to have a chance to come back. But they're against Brady with that last stand, who can be kind of big.
Yeah, Brady with a nice tackle there. Alfie going to clean that up on Madara, and that's a huge last stand. Give me 4 as he sweeps through the opposition. Brady with an absolute beefy tackle running through the back line now, as we are going to slowly tick away on everyone else. Punisher going to fall. Down goes Wicca trying to contest the point, and you got to love that idea from the strategist. If you see your team's in trouble, try to go hold the point. Make it not as valuable, as we do see that hold there. We're likely going to see a teleport through to contest this point now, but Brady, what an ultimate.
Yeah, that was an insane ult. And right now they're giving Brady way too much space. I feel like he's just able to get whatever he wants. And look at this, another free grab. Like, what are we doing, guys? Running right in to this Wolverine. We're already at the end of the point. And they just lose another person. Madara goes down.
Yeah, and that's a nice little set of play as we're going to see some sort of hurricane here from Kuna, trying to get some value. It's very difficult to find value through that eternal bond, though, as they are able to take out one. And there's Kuna and Lorenz taking out Haluk early. Make that 2 as Alfie falls, and that could be enough for them to hold on here. Good retake here by Shikigami. Pulls out the shotty, trying to find value onto the Wolverine, get that passive pop. But Wolverine, with that damage reduction, with focus, is so difficult to take out essentially another Vanguard. They're not able to get that tackle there and reset with the team.
Yeah, Brady's just going to farm another ultimate. Right now, it's about how Shikigami play around in this upcoming fight. 3 minutes and 20 seconds left to go. I mean, not the most ideal time bank for Shikigami, as Luminosity have so much time to work with right now, as Now, we'll see what Madara does with his ultimate as well. I mean, he hasn't been able to hit the flush Eye of Agamotto's yet, and Luminosity right now, I think this mix-up has been nice. They love having Haluk playing that Groot alongside Alfie on that Magneto. I mean, it's a slower play style, and it's kind of working for them so far, playing heavy around Brady right now.
Yeah, we are going to see a slow up in the pace here as they're readying up for the next fight, setting up. Great push there by Invis to slow that as the passive gets popped, and they clean that up. Ready, unable to find a tackle there, and that just goes to show you if you're having trouble with Wolverine, please, as an Invis, hold on to that push and help your team get that pick. And that's a nice start to that fight, forcing a full team reset as Shikigami now has 6 ultimates ready for this next fight. Luminosity going to be very close as well, as we are going to see queues for days. Great ult here by Madara, going to find 2 as they do sweep through that, not having to overutilize ultimates at all, just using 1, as there will be 6 here for Luminosity in the next fight.
And that's why people say Magneto's so broken, right? You just pop the bubble onto Doctor Strange. You can't force physics him away if you are Invisible Woman. So that setup is amazing. I know earlier we talked, I believe, to another pro player in EMEA where they talked about how, yeah, these bubbles just set up these Doctor Stranges to get anything you want. I mean, that's the strength of Magneto compared to Emma Frost, who does a lot of damage. Now, here comes a very early ultimate for Lorenz.
You gotta be cautious to use that Eternal Bond into an ulting Punisher like that, especially at this level. Just absolutely rips through, counters an ultimate, and finds more just value out the wazoo here. Incredible work. And there's a last stand tackle trying to turn that back. Freddy gonna find Madara there, and that's nice to turn these fights back in their favor, but they're gonna have to commit with Q's here if they want to push this all the way through.
They are going to have to do that indeed. This is tough. I mean, Luminosity trying to play this scrappy. Same thing with Shikigami. Shikigami has been a little bit more conformed. A minute and 20 seconds left to go. We talked about how the time bank was a lot. Now we're down to a minute and 14 seconds. So 2 minutes has been chewed off the clock for the side of Luminosity. I mean, they got to win a fight here.
Yeah, here we go with another Hurricane off the rip. Will it pull out an ultimate? We do see the last. Oh, we see a ton of ults getting popped. Lorenz going to find Haluk early. Very low as Alfie finds 2. Well done for Alfie. March gonna find it. Brady, the entirety of Luminosity clutching up in that moment, finding value with those Qs, committing as a team, and still holding on to Kinetic there. So they do have that bond for the next fight. Well done by LG to push this thing to point 2.
Yep, exactly what they need, but now not a lot of time in the clock for Luminosity or Ultimates for this upcoming fight. They're going to rely heavily on Brady to find an opening pick or some sort of grab. Meanwhile, for Shikigami, you just have to play as unit, play together, play around Madara, who's going to have the Eye of Agamotto coming up, and also they could just kind of go in as they do have Eternal Bond advantage with Kinetic.
Yeah, Lorenz very close here to an ultimate. Final Judgment ready to tackles out early, but we go to play off it. We do see it's just a hyper aggro with the Eternal Bond team running through them. Shikigami trying to press it through their spawn, and it does work out for him. Insane work here as the entirety of Luminosity gets swept.
Yeah, I mean, not too shabby there for Shikigami, but man, like, it just feels like they're not even looking for Brady right now. I mean, obviously it worked out for them. They came back through with that Eternal Brawn. Yang tried to catch them out, or sorry. Oh my God, Madara though. Spawn!
I had no idea about that spot. That's insane. Finding 2. Luke gonna take out Pride, though. Madara finds Spenny. It's pretty much an even trade, but what a spot there. Take that one to the bank. Put that in your games and ladder, folks, because that was wild as they do reset as a team.
Backing up, I mean, you would have wanted to get a little bit more there, but the bubbles from Magneto kind of resulted in some more picks. Here comes Lorenz as well on the backside to come back with that Punisher ultimate. Is he going to find eliminations, though? Why are you running towards it, Haluk? Oh, no.
Difficult position to be in there. That reduced HP on the Groot walls, making it a little less value to pop that E up, but Lorenz going to take out 2, stagger them a little bit more. 40 seconds on the clock. Now things are getting a little dicey on this push. Holding it right here is actually very strong, as I do believe once you get the point pushed into 3, it's much more advantageous for the defense on that first bend. Holding it out here actually is a little more advantageous for the attacking team, but not able to get it done just yet. But Luminosity, look at all these Qs ready for action. Pride going to be close, and here comes the Hurricane. Going to force out Yang, potentially. We may not see one. A Spenny might have to use Invis ult here. Just trying to buy time and wait out an ultimate. Good patience there by Luminosity. Hurricane getting no value besides forcing that out, which is enough, maybe, in this final fight as we do push through this first bend.
Yeah, bursting through it. Brady still has that last area to go. Mark's going to commit the ultimate as well to push on forward. Is going to be met by that Meteor M. It's met by an invisible boundary. No Meteor M in sight just yet.
Okay, and we do see this pop again. We do see the last stand coming from Wolverine closely here for Brady. Out goes one. Pride gonna find Yang. Traded again as Alfie takes kinetic. And then Wicca, Alfie popping up here in a two-piece back-to-back. Losing Brady like that is tough. Brady did try to use that ultimate. Lorenz finds two and Kuda, and that could be enough right there unless March gets this teleport through.
It's there, but no, can't hop on through, man. Shikigami stopped Luminosity in third phase, and Shib, I feel like the difference, there's two major differences I'm noticing between teams right now. Shikigami, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, they feel like they play like a unit. They're playing like one, right? But it's a little bit too much because sometimes they get tunnel visioned on the front line looking for Madara's ultimates, right? They're really good at committing, which is awesome, right? I would say that it's better to commit to a bad game plan than everybody to have their own plan, right? I mean, that's sort of the way that I would look at it in terms of game planning in Marvel Rivals. And for the opposite side, it feels like Luminosity are really good mechanically, but they're making their own individual plays. It doesn't feel like they're playing for one another. Brady flanking, trying to find those grabs. He connects on them sometimes, but it feels like everybody's playing for their own lives. We saw a stacker come through from Lorenz at the very end. It's just these small, minute details, and stats-wise, they look amazing, and you're always going to look good on attack, right? I mean, that's just kind of how the game works. And for the side of Shikigami, I think, you know, or sorry, on defense, it's always a lot better. But for Luminosity, man, I just need to see them play a little bit more as a unit, play for each other, right? Just kind of set up each other's plays, help your boys out, and I think they'll be in a better spot on defense. It might be a little bit easier to do such things as they got stopped on third phase on attack.
Yeah, I mean, I love the way you called that out. They should definitely hire you as a caster because you can see that Shikigami putting a lot of eggs in their basket with Lorenz, right? They're forcing out strategist ultimates with Kuna every time and then following up with Lorenz, and they're just pocketing him to get the picks. 11 final hits there, more than anyone in the lobby right now. So it's very team focused, like you're mentioning, where Shikigami, each one of them has had a great play and it's helped them take the point, but it may not be as focused on a singular ultimate. Instead, it's more so, this is our Q fight instead of being, how can we get this much value with each individual Q?
I mean, this is the most innovative stuff. They bring him into the side. Oh no, kidnapped. Jesus, the bubble's there as well.
That was a great play. I love ingenuity like that. Very smart, but they are not going to be finding too much value as down goes Brady. Unfortunately, it didn't work, but definitely a team setup play here. But it's kind of backfiring for them as they are going to slowly stagger as Yang goes down. Kuna finds one, and the second, this is the way you got to do it. Just fall on point. Get KO'd on point as they're going to need to TP here. There could be a counter from Madara again. Will we see another floor fall through as they will have to teleport to get this touch?
It was unique. It was a unique idea. Didn't work. It just that's the only thing to say about it. I mean, it didn't pull him all the way in. Alfie with the portal. Is it even going to be there in time? I mean, the cart's got so much space.
Ooh, yep, they do get the touch, I believe. The push out. Spenny falls early. The Rens with an early pick, and yeah, down goes Haluk as well. And this is not going to work out for them. This portal was more desperate just to try to get that time. It goes to show you that backfiring off that initial play. I like the idea of the play a ton. And it had a ton of potential. Unfortunately, losing that play and that fight and all their commitment to being on those off angles allowed them to just kind of walk the point after, and it gave them the entirety of point one, which means 5 minutes here for point two. That's crazy.
Yeah, 5 minutes and 0-0. March got staggered, so LG, tournament life on the line. Each fight they lose feels like a dagger to the back. Shikigami. It's Brady, by the way, switching over to the Hela is interesting. They're going to be trying to deal with Kuna on that flyer in the sky, but here comes Lorenzo with a very early ultimate. Do they die to this, man? Don't fall. Okay, they're going to use the invisible boundary. Sustain for now.
Okay, and here we go again with the next fight. You're talking about ultimates, and it seems to be even. And yep, Luminosity pressing Q across the board. We are going to see a ton. Brady takes out Lorenz early. That's a great start. Kuna trying to find something. No, Spenny going to get that pick. So looks like Luminosity are stepping back up here, getting on their feet as alts are going to be roughly even in these next fights. Still holding on with his W. Brady going to take out Wicca, keep the pressure forward. Down goes another, and that's going to be enough to wipe them, send them back to the spawn door with only 4 minutes on. 4 to go, 1 down. Can they get the job done on point two?
Yeah, in these neutral fights, I'm going to be curious to see what this Hela sort of does. I mean, the ultimate is solid, but, you know, you can't really play in the Cloak and Dagger ultimate. You can't play an invisible boundary in the Hela ultimate. It's going to go down regardless, right? Whereas Shikigami with Kuda's ult, it can be always saved via support. You can always heal it back up to get even more damage down range, but LG, we'll see how they play this. I have Okamoto up on the attack from Madara. We've seen him get insane ones, but now he's on attack, so it's going to be harder to set it up.
Yeah, alts are dead even right now with a Vanguard. Oh, strategist line. Out goes Kinetic, immediately launching that. Great positioning there to hide behind. Not a. Oh my goodness. Broke the Strange Shield prior to the Meteor M, dunking on virtually everyone as a three-piece goes down. And wow, that was coordination and focus. I'm sure the team comm said, burst that shield, and they did it. And honestly, a secret tip there for Magneto is if you are unsure if the shield's going to hold up, try to fly a little bit into the sky. It'll make your Meteor take more time to land, allowing you to get picks like that. Gorgeous play.
Yeah, gorgeous play indeed. And I like how they use the Hella ultimate, using it very early, understanding that it's harder to use it later into these fights when everybody's focusing on you and there's less space to give. Meanwhile, Shikigami now have to set up this upcoming play. It's March to go first. Did they disengage or do they want to fight into it? I would go for the disengage. No, they come in Invisible Boundary, so they're trying to fight back. Counter Invisible Boundary, somehow Lorenz gets an elimination as well.
I think the Invisible Boundary a little too far up there. I'm not sure if they got a ton of value, but Kuna going to follow up here with the Hurricane, and might have been a little bit of an it may have some value. I think it forced out the bond, but we are going to press for his Madara. Going to use that E to expel, deal a ton of damage, try to get that alt charge back quickly. Ooh, good sweep here as Shikigami is cleaning up the rest. They're going to try to portal them out at the spawn door, and this is why Strange does so well on this map, and they're going to counter portal. They thought
stun from the Hella.
Oh my goodness. Wow. What a play by Brady, and great eye by you to call that out, as they are going to be able to touch now if Alfie can get them in there.
And they're coming back through. Punisher ultimate on the cart, though. That's going to be tough to deal with. Ayavagomoto doesn't matter against no CC. Pushed away as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, like we mentioned, you cannot CC. A Punisher mid-ultimate is CC immune, and got a ton of value there. Kuna got to take out two more. 1 minute 40 on the clock, and it's looking like this one's going to get shoved through by Shiki. But Alfie finds one. Will they be able to even the odds here? Out goes the Invisible Boundary. Wicca just trying to keep them in this fight. They've got to keep touch while still playing slow with good pace. Us against the world. Out goes the Eternal Bond, and this is going to be held for a while. Brady going to find Kinetic. Halu going to take out another March onto Madara, and this is getting turned around as Luminosity does a great job playing patient and holding on to that point. 1 minute 20 on the clock. Can they do this to push this to map 3?
Brady stalling things out, playing very similar to 100 Thieves in terms of Delena on the Hella. Those flanks been absolutely crucial. LG trying to keep the tournament life on, or up, I should say. 1 minute left to go, though. Shikigami and Madara, he's been big with these Ayavagomotos as well. No ultimates for Luminosity, who are now switching March over to the Star-Lord instead of the Punisher.
Yeah, I've got to say, I think that Brady's stun there was potentially round winning if they take this home. Stopping that teleport counter, which was very much ready for Shikigami. They saw that off angle, and they tried to hide there. Alfie tried to hide so that the portal wasn't seen, but instead it was found. Shikigami, Kuna going to take out Brady early, though, and that's difficult. A lot of ults get popped. Madara going to take out a second. Up in the sky we go. Will there find more value? Not quite yet. March takes out one, but Kuna drops two as Luke and Alfie go down. This is back in the favor of Shikigami, as they are going to take this thing through.
Brady's flank was snuffed out by Shikigami. Kuna was the one to find it as well as the rest of the team. They just played for looking for that Hella, which is exactly what you want to do if you know there's a Hella on the flank. And unfortunately for March, that swap to Star-Lord didn't result in much. I don't think it really would have mattered anyway because they lost Brady on that flank. Third phase, 1 minute 36 seconds left to go. This checkpoint is not very far either, so we're pretty much at last fight territory. I'd be scared if I'm Luminosity. You don't want to lose even a single fight.
Yeah, this is where those nerves really come into play. 70K on the line for the first set and staying inside this tournament. And here comes some alts pop. A lot of protection. Shields go up to keep them in as they find another. March going to turn around and take out Lorenzo through that. Great pick there by March. Through a ton of pocket there on Lorenz. Wow. What a set of patience and understanding. Waiting those cooldowns out and still getting the pick. Pride does have this Meteor M. Wicca does have ultimate as well. It's virtually even. Brady holding on here in the sky with Hella ready to launch it. Spenny double alt advantage here for Luminosity, who is going to pop that Q early. Eternal Bond goes out. Matched again. And who can get the job done? Ayavagomoto. I'm not sure how much value it got. Oh! No way! Shikigami with a ton of picks, committing everything. No, Luminosity with 3 ultimates held are not going to be able to stop it. And I think that's enough for Luminosity to lose this one as Madara's going to portal them out. That should be it.
Are you kidding? What?
Wow.
Oh no, Shikigami finish off Luminosity, getting them out of the tournament already. Luminosity, Rip and Peppo, Shikigami sent to hell from Terror Cape. Man, that cape, you saw that ship right in the middle of the Eternal Bond, connect them to everybody, and then they just had the damage, the throughput to find everybody else.
Wow. I mean, That is such a tough look there. Luminosity were playing so great. Shikigami looked great there too. Luminosity in that final fight, losing 3 with 3 Qs ready is such a tough look. Their whole team looking pretty even across the board. We talk about playing as a team instead of playing as an individual. You look over at Shikigami, 22 final hits there for Lorenz, really building around that Punisher composition and it coming into fruition. 39k damage, dude. What